Ken Rodberg here with us today. But welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
German, right?
Actually, the family name is German, yes.
So should I say Guten Morgen?
You can say so.
Okay, right. But I still struggle with it. I think it's one of the hardest languages, if you ask me. And I've always tried to be coach on just how to say that simple word, good morning. But it's a mouthful.
It is.
Yeah, Guten Morgen.
Guten Morgen.
Guten Morgen. Okay. All right, welcome to the show. We want to first start off by understanding what you do. I mean, what is offered, and explain its interest in the Kenyan market.
Yeah, so maybe let's start with a problem, right?
Yeah.
So there are 54 different countries and currencies in Africa, and in most of the African countries the inflation rates are really high. And also the cross-border transactions or payments between the countries within Africa is quite a big problem. So we are disrupting it with Aufort. So we are a technology platform. We are a financial technology platform, which enables Kenyans and also other Africans to protect their money from the inflation. And also during the same time, they can use it as a means of payment. Yeah.
Okay. I think maybe just to explain why gold is a good investment, you've already talked about how it kind of comes into buffer, when it comes to against inflation rather. Why don't you expound on that and give us the basics? What don't we understand about inflation?
Yeah, so most people have heard about the word inflation, but they actually don't know what it means, right? So let's look at some facts. Within the last few years, Kenyan shilling has depreciated quite a lot. And this is not only the Kenyan shilling problem, this is the problem for all of the fiat currencies. Euros, dollars, Kenyan shillings, and so on, British pounds. So gold is a very good hedge for inflation. Because it has been used as a currency for a very long time, and it holds its value. So, for example, like Kenyan shilling has lost its value within a few years around 20 to 30%, and during the same time, the price of gold has been risen almost the same amount to 20 to 30%, right? Oh, okay. So let's give you a good example. If you would have like 1,000 shillings in your bank account, right? And you would be saving in that money a few years ago. Yeah. Then today, if you're looking at your bank account, you would still have the same amount, right? But you could buy 20 to 30% less. Correct. Because of the valuation, right? Right. So, and this is, in my opinion, one of the things that most people don't get it, right? Because it's like a tricky, right? Yeah. You look at your bank account, the number is the same. So you haven't like lost anything, right? But the value,
yes, yeah,
exactly.
Of it, has totally changed.
Yeah, and this is the tricky part. And why gold serves the best like protection against inflation is because gold has been used as a money or currency thousands of years. Actually, gold was the first money after the barter trading, in the history. Correct. There was a barter trading. If you had, let's say, one cow, I had 5 chickens, right? And we wanted to make the exchange, we could do it, right? So because it was very difficult to do it as the economy and socialization grew, then they came up with a solution to start using gold as a means of payment because it made everything much more easier.
Fantastic. And I like the examples that you're giving, because what we want to understand is everyday examples of inflation. Give us another example. I want us to really get it. When you talk about you have the same figure, it's almost like it's a trick, but that 1,000 shillings can't do the same thing it did for you 5 years ago.
I will shock you with the next example. Right. So one of our early days investors, if he was a small child, then his parents started to collect him money. It was back in Estonia, and it was like around already 40 years ago. Yeah. So they calculated that if they put every month aside X amount of money, which they plan to do, then if their son grows up, becomes a grown-up, then he could buy a car. Yeah. Right. But one thing that they didn't do, they didn't take into account inflation. So what the reality was, if this person became a grown-up, he could buy a new pair of shoes.
That's how weak it's gotten.
And this is the reality, right?
Right.
And this is what happened with the money, with the value of money during these 18 or 15 years, right?
Yeah, the ups, the downs. I mean, you just never know with it. So what we're talking about is that you coming into the market with a new offering of stability.
We can say so, yes.
Okay, all right. So for the average person, I mean, gold seems like it's an asset for a very niche market. And when now we're here on a national platform talking to your average Kenyan, someone would be asking, okay, who is gold for? Like, who can invest in it? How do I even begin? Even if I'm earning, you know, something between that little bracket of, you know, 10,000 shillings to 100,000 Kenya shillings, if you will. I mean, where's my place in all of this?
It's actually interesting that that most people have the understanding that gold is only for the very rich people and the very selected people, right? Actually, this is not true. Because it's possible to buy gold already with a very small fractions, like for example on our platform it's possible to do it from 0.1 gram, which is around $9, right? So I think most people have the money. Of course, these people maybe who are living on the streets, they struggle, they would struggle with it, right? But most Kenyans, I believe, don't. So I think people have a bit like a wrong perception or understanding, and maybe it's like a story that has been kept. It's like telling to people that gold is for only very selected and rich people. This is not the case.
Right, right.
Gold is for everybody. And it's not a luxury commodity or luxury product. It's a necessary product for everybody who really who understands the inflation problem and who really wants to protect their money from the inflation.
Right. And be honest with me, but now that obviously you're penetrating into this particular market, when we have historically always known that land is really the asset as Africans, are you struggling to change this mindset where people can stop thinking only about land or purchasing land and considering that or property as the asset? How is that going? How's the perception coming along?
Very good question. I've actually thinking about because this is very different what is happening in Europe. Like it's not very common in Europe to invest in land. Like in Europe, the like investing infrastructure is really good. There is a lot of opportunities. There are a lot of like technological solutions that enable really easily to invest in different asset classes. But unfortunately, this is not the case in most of the African countries.
Right.
So I was really like surprised if I heard that in Kenya the investment in land is very like
it's high.
Very popular, right?
Yeah.
You know, all of the times I think it's important to ask the right questions. So my first question would be, how liquid is land? So if you would be investing or saving in land, if you would need some part of the money, how liquid it is?
No, it's not, because it would take you ages to offset that or offload it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, you know, and there are different similar kind of questions that we can ask for different asset classes, right? So I would say that I wouldn't go into details with comparing different asset classes here with gold, but I would just say that gold is extremely liquid. Because if you fractionize it, you can, let's say if you buy like, I don't know, $100 worth of gold, you can sell $2 of it, right? So you can, it's very liquid, and there is a market everywhere, and it's not only in Kenya, it's in all African countries, it's in Europe, it's in US, it's everywhere in Asia. So it has a very big usability, and it's extremely liquid, which makes it, in my opinion, one of the best asset classes in the world.
Yeah. One of the things that you will realize when it comes to discussions around investment, you know, anything to do with finances, a lot of people struggle with it because of the aspect of managing it. And I want you to have the bragging rights right now as Allfort. How do you guys come in to help people manage their investments, right? What can you do? Because for me, for example, if I do have the cash sitting around and I'm thinking, okay, all right, BAT has appealed to me, I can put in my $9 or whatever it is that I'm going to put in, but from there on, I need help. I need help to manage it. So how do you come in?
Yeah, so let's make one thing clear. Allfort is a technology platform, so we're not dealing with gold ourselves. So we are partnering with huge gold companies in the world who have been around for 50 or 100 years. So they're taking care of the physical gold storage, right? So the gold is in secure vaults. This gold is insured if anything should happen with these big companies, which is very unlikely, but still, just to manage the risks, we have decided to like insure it. And then it's also audited by the third parties, right? So all this information can be found on our platform. So we just enable to fractionize gold, to give it easy access in small quantities. And then you can also use it as a means of payment between the users and between the different regions, right? So it's very easy for people to use the product or service that we have built, because they don't have to do anything, right? They just have to choose the favorable amount of gold they would love to have. They can buy it on the platform, they can store it, they can also sell it anytime, or they can send between the users like in small fractions. And we take care of the storage, we take care of the insurance. So people have the only thing that they have to do is we have a monthly storage fee, which is 0.04 grams of gold. This is a bit more than $2, which will be automatically deducted every month from the gold account. So they don't have to do anything, right? They don't have to take care of the physical gold storage, because this is one of the biggest problems that we are solving with this platform, is that, you know, in many African countries are not very secure, right? So, and I think people are not very happy if they would be storing their physical gold at their homes, right? So we take this fear away from them, and we hedge it in different regions of the world, so people can actually choose where they want to hold the gold.
Right. Okay, so now that you've already started talking really about the platform, I'm just even trying to understand it a little bit more from a layman's perspective. Okay, let's say I have X amount I want to put in. Help me work through it. So I put that much in. What am I expecting to see on the platform? It will notify me that you've managed to purchase X amount of gold, right? Then from there, what happens? Are we looking at it growing in value? Are you monitoring it for me? What happens next?
Yeah, so in that sense, we don't monitor it. So we just enable or give easy access to gold for all Kenyans, right? So gold has the world market value. So the price is the same in Africa, in Europe, in US, in Asia, and all the other different regions in the world. So we don't influence it anyhow, right? If you would be buying gold on the platform, this price will be changed accordingly to the changes in the world market value, right? So if the price of gold goes up on the world markets, your investment grows. If the price goes down, your investment decreases a bit, right? But in the long run, it's protecting your money from the inflation. And our platform cannot give like any guarantees. You're going to make X amount of percentage per month or year, right? We cannot like influence it anyhow. It's the world market price of gold. And the main reason for the product or the service is for people to protect their money from the inflation for a longer period of time. So it's not about, gold is, many people have asked me like, oh, maybe I can start trading gold.
Actually, that's where I was going to go next.
I've said to everybody that gold is not a product for trading. Yeah, gold is a substitute of money. And in some cases, I even like to say that gold is not an investment. Gold is rather acting as a money, which helps you to protect your money from the inflation, right? So, of course, all of the biggest investors in the world have a solid proportion of gold in their portfolio to hedge their risks, because gold is the most stable currency out there. It has been like centuries like that, right?
I like that, yeah. So it's not for trading purposes. What you're saying is safe with it.
Exactly. I don't recommend trading with gold. Some people who I know are traders, and if they ask their opinion from me, I have suggested if you want to trade with gold, go to some like trading or investment platform, and do it with the leverage, right? 10x, 20x, 30x, 50x, right? But in overall, I don't recommend it, because gold is a different asset class, and it's not so much for trading or things like that. It helps you to protect your money from the inflation and use it as a means of currency.
And then in the events, like you had mentioned earlier on, that you do need to access that portion of your gold, like you said, it's so easy to trade it off and then be able to get your money.
Exactly. So what's very important aspect on our platform is that we are the first company in the world who combines gold with blockchain technology and e-commerce. So just to be clear, most people might get it mixed up. If you're using word blockchain, they might understand that this is already a cryptocurrency.
This is the thing,
but this is not the thing actually, because blockchain is a database storing technology. and blockchain was there before, and then cryptocurrency is just the first use case of blockchain. So we are just using this technology for the database purposes, so it's transparent and it's secure. Because on decentralized blockchain database, it's not possible to change anything. So we can't delete any data there. We cannot manipulate with the data. That, let's say you had 10 grams, but we will change in the database that you have 8, right? So we would be stealing like 2 grams from you. This is not possible with blockchain. So this is the reason why we are using this kind of technologies. And the fact where it comes in, like the e-commerce, this is the most seamless user experience. Because with most like investing platforms, the thing is that you would need to make the deposit. So you would be depositing, let's say, 1,000 shillings. And if the deposit is confirmed, you can make your by transaction. We don't have it. Because if we would have it, we would be considered as a financial institution, but we are not. So in the legal terms, we are an online e-commerce business. And then you would be like logging in, you would be adding to the cart favorable amount of gold. Like you would be buying shoes or jeans, for example, from the web shop. This is the same progress on or process on our platform, and you will be selecting different payment methods. And in Kenya, we are already integrated with M-Pesa. So you can really seamlessly buy and sell gold with M-Pesa.
Fantastic. I do believe we've got some text messages that we're going to be sampling. Perhaps we'll take it on the second half of the show. But thanks so much for all those of you who did respond on our social media platforms when we teased this particular discussion. You can see there's a generated interest in this particular topic, and this is because obviously a lot of us are interested in knowing, by the way, what should I be investing in, where should I be saving, even as Bert has put it. Back to you though, when you think about the promotion of gold, and how to save or invest in it, it's kind of taken a backseat to popular alternatives, whether it's stocks and the bonds market. Why do you think so? Why isn't it as popular as the way we hear all about stocks and about bonds and all the other portfolios that are out there?
This is a very good question, and I've been also thinking about it myself. So I think it aligns with the thing that I mentioned earlier. Gold is more considered as a currency, right, as an investment. It doesn't mean that it doesn't serve the purpose of investment. It does. But stocks are for most people like more maybe interesting, because you never know what happens with a stock, because stocks can be very unpredictable, right? So every company usually starts somewhere and it ends somewhere, right? And we don't have a lot of companies who have been out there for hundreds of years, right? So you never know which company might go out of the business at some point, right? And then it's also the question about the liquidity, because let's say if you would be investing in stocks, then if you want to use some money that you have been investing in stocks, you would be selling your stock, and you need to wait when the money arrives to your account, right? So in that sense, it's not so liquid or fast compared to gold or the platform solution that we have built. So if you have put your money in gold, which will be protected from the inflation, if you want to have the liquidity for a small part of it, you don't have to sell it. You can use it to send to other people without any fees, and within 1 second. It works within Kenya and within different countries and regions.
Oh, nice.
We can be, I can be sit here now in Nairobi, and I can send money to Germany or Estonia in gold within 1 second and with 0 fees.
Okay.
Right. Which people can then sell to euros. Local payment service provider integration. So in that case, I just want to give the perspective that gold is in many cases much more liquid, and it serves different use cases compared to different asset classes which are considered very popular investments. Right? So this is the reason why I personally have the opinion that gold is maybe not so good classical investment, rather it serves the like the alternative for money.
Right. The experts like you, people in this particular field, talk about risks that are associated with different portfolios. Investments in general will probably have their downside. And I think that's my next question to you. For gold as an asset, despite it being regarded as safe, in quotes, are there any risks associated to this that you'd like to share with us?
of course, there are risks everywhere. If somebody is telling you that there are no risks, this person is already lying, right? It's not possible.
Yeah.
The question is, what is the risk proportion?
Okay.
Right? So if we're comparing gold with many different asset classes, I would say gold has one of the lowest risks because it has been around for centuries.
Right.
So everybody knows its value, right? So a lot of people have been talking about during the last decade regarding Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, right? It has been a really popular topic. I'm a big fan of cryptocurrencies. I've been in the space since 2018. I see a big future for that, but I understand that there are also quite high risks. So people have to understand that usually if you have high upside potential opportunity, it comes with high risk as well. Right?
Okay.
Gold is quite stable.
Right.
Gold is usually making up to a few percent changes during the day, but in the long run, it's going up steadily, right? So during the last 10, 20, 30 years, gold has gone up remarkably, and it has gone up steadily. Of course, it makes some downturns occasionally, but this is okay. This is how market works, right? So I think that gold has a very good use case and usability with a very, very low risks. And I would say the biggest risk for gold is the stealing risk. But this is what we are basically eliminating with the platforms.
Right.
Because you don't have to hold the gold at your home.
Exactly. Right? Yeah. So there's nothing tangible that's going to be stolen from you here.
Yeah. So the gold is physical, right? But it's stored in the secure vaults. Yes. And in Europe, we operate in 30 countries in Europe, and also we started operations in Dubai, in United Arab Emirates, in the beginning of this year. Yeah. So also Kenyans have the opportunity to withdraw the gold physically in Europe and also in Dubai. We are currently also looking for partners in Kenya through whom we can withdraw physical gold bars as well, but we haven't found it the real trustworthy partner.
Okay, well, I'm sure now they know because you're here on TV. All right, so Bert Ken Roadberg is here in studio with us. We're really just talking about where you need to be placing your money and why actually there are a lot of benefits when it comes to thinking of gold as part of your investment portfolio. We want to take a short commercial break. Like I promised, we are going to be sampling some questions that came through through our social media platforms once we had teased this particular topic. And so when we get back, we'll be looking at those. But if you would like to also get in touch or throw in your questions, we want to encourage you to get in touch with us through our socials at K24 TV. You can also reach me through my DM as at Shiko Kaittany on Instagram, and then I'll be able to put you in touch with obviously Offort in regards to this particular discussion. All right, let's take that short commercial break. We'll be back.